since these are mostly college kids, I understood we're going to have some questions. We just do a Q&A. So I love answering questions. So who's going first?
What's your favorite subject to photograph and why?
People, because they always surprise me. I think people are just interesting to watch. I guess if I could sit back and not be bothered by anybody and just observe people, I think I could do it all day long. I mean, I'm fascinated.
How much of this is digital and how much is film?
It's 100% digital. 100% digital. Nothing here is film. I shoot everything with a digital camera using raw file format. I convert it out to black and white. It allows me to preserve the color image. How many are familiar with the raw file format? Okay, so it allows me to preserve the color image as well as the black and white image. Some of these images actually have been produced in color, and they look good in color as they do in black and white. But my style, I'm a little more stylistic in my black and white work, so that's probably where I tend to lead with a lot of my stuff. But they're all digital files, to answer your question.
Which of these photos is your favorite?
My favorite image probably is a lady napping in Paris, over there. Probably because it's outside my normal shooting style, and it was a very unusual situation. And to me, it lends itself to black and white perfectly. So it's probably my favorite. It's my recent favorite. Let's put it that way. 2 years ago, the India shot was my favorite. I'm fickle. It'll change a couple of years from now. I'll another one I like better. But probably because it's probably my favorite because I felt very awkward. I rarely feel awkward with anything. I felt awkward taking the shot, so I had to step up to the plate to get the shot, and so that's probably a little bit as well.
Talk about your travels. You've apparently traveled all over the world.
Well, a few places, yeah.
And were you just on vacation? Or
Yeah, you know, I don't.
Specifically,
it's primarily a personal project. It's not. Someone asked me earlier if I get hired for it. I don't. I mean, it's in a lot of cases too. While I enjoy shooting alone, I enjoy traveling with company. So I'll take my family if it works out, and we'll travel together. And then oftentimes they're used to me, just with camera in tow all the time. And if anything, it's like I've had to leave my camera for like my child's sporting events because otherwise I'd miss everything. And it's just part of my personality. If I have my camera, I'm always looking for the shot, and so it's like being at work, and you just got to leave it behind if you want to really see what's going on. And so to answer your question, it's primarily when I'm traveling on personal trips to get photos off. Actually, I call them vacations to get them to come. But they're photo trips, is what they really are. And so we have to be in agreement, and like Brussels, I took a lot of nighttime shots in Brussels, and they wanted to go to the hotel. I said, fine, go. And I went out by myself for a couple hours, because street photography in particular is a very intimate process. It's not something, it's not a team sport either. And it's something you can learn with a lot of people, but when you're out there doing it, if you really want to get the shot, you need to be by yourself. And so I'll take that time. I'm very selfish about it, and I don't lie about it. I just say I'm going out and I'm going to spend a couple hours shooting. And we have rules. You got to text. Let me know you're alive, stuff like that. So.
How safe do you feel in places like this carrying $10,000 worth of camera equipment?
Yeah, so what's interesting is I've scaled back, and I think this has made it easier for me. I used to carry a lot of gear. For the Brussels and everything in Paris and Brussels was all shot with a Canon 5D Mark II and a 35mm Zeiss Prime. That's all I shoot, and that's probably all I'm going to use now from now on for street photography. So I don't look like I'm carrying a lot. I used to have 2 bodies, all this crazy stuff, but I've really scaled back. I don't get too nervous. I'm also very aware. I live in Chicago. And I'm just very aware of people. One of the things about being a street photographer when you're shooting, you need to be aware of be present, without a doubt. And everyone around me, I usually know where they're at. One of the worst things, it's a phrase I'm sure you guys are familiar with, is paralysis of analysis. A lot of people will think, and they never do anything, and then they miss the shot. I probably, good or bad, don't think that often. Way back when, if you shot, let's say, at 400 or maybe 800, low light conditions, you would see these really big grains. Well, that's noise. Now today, when you run it through software, you have the ability to eliminate that, and it just looks smooth. In black and white, it's much more forgiving, and honestly, probably the best image to see it is up here. When you go take a look, I didn't get rid of it because you do need some, but you can take a look. There's some in there. That's what noise is. It's the grain in the image. And in black and white film, we're just used to it. Well, nowadays with digital, if you don't want it, there's no reason to have it, honestly.
In your night scenes, what do you normally shoot for ISO?
Yeah, so my ISO typically is at 800, even though the cameras can go to 12,000 more, but I like to stay around 800 if I can. But 800 to 1600 is probably the accurate number. It's more important to get the shot, so you want to bump up your ISO to do it. So that's what matters more so than anything, is to get the shot. But I like to stay right around, no more than 1600 usually.
Pick one and tell us the story about it.
Oh, I have to tell the story?
You have to tell it. They have to do it also, but I want
Like what actually took place?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Tell us the story of that piece.
Yeah, the penguin one.
Well, the penguin one was, I mean, we were in the penguin shot is in South Africa. We were in a pretty heavy tourist zone actually, and I don't think she was aware. A lot of, was aware that it was there. The penguin was down there, and a lot of people were taking photos. I mean, it wasn't just like I saw it, no one else saw it. I think a lot of people were taking photos of just the penguin, but for me, the composition really was her and the penguin, especially with the way her head was tilted, as well as the penguin kind of questioning, like, what's up. So I liked it. But that was pretty, pretty straightforward. It just, you have to feel comfortable enough sitting there and shooting a photograph of a person in there who may or may not want you taking their photo. Although I don't recall her getting upset. I think the shot, I'm going to go back to my favorite because I like the story. It still freaks me out to this day, the gal on the bench. I mean, I'm in Paris. It's, it must have been noon, near noon. And they do nap a lot in Paris. Do we have anyone here from Paris? I mean, they like their naps. And this was a park. We're near the Eiffel Tower, actually. And we're walking, I started about 150 yards or so away. It was a strange position to be in. I don't even know how that's comfortable to lay there. And naturally, I thought, well, she must be hungover. You know what I mean? Because naturally. Because they drink in Paris, too. A bunch of drunks.
There's wine, yeah.
She's either drunk or smoking. Yeah, so no. And so as I got closer, she was taking a nap. And that's just the position that she was comfortable in. And it was just very interesting to me. And in my mind, I said, this is just a great black and white, to me at least.
Yes.
So this may be an image you will either hate or you will love. It doesn't matter. It's an image that spoke to me. And